So this is how you make the much hated National Loaf of Bread from the World War II Ministry of Food. During World War II, Britain banned white bread and introduced the National Loaf, which was a joyless, grey hunk of wholemeal designed to stretch wheat supplies and keep people marginally more alive. According to a recipe from the World War II Ministry of Food, you make National Loaf by, in a large bowl, mixing together 340 grams of wholemeal bread flour, 3/4 of a tablespoon of salt, and 3/4 of a tablespoon of dried yeast. Stir in 1 teaspoon of honey or treacle, and then add 225 ml of tepid water. The recipe then tells you to combine the mix into a rough dough, then knead on a clean surface for about 10 minutes, all until you have a soft dough. The National Loaf was Britain's wartime bread. I'm also baking this the day before eating it because, by law, you couldn't buy National Loaf fresh. It had to go slightly stale first. Why? Because stale bread slices thinner, and in wartime Britain, even sandwiches had to be strategic. As sensible a strategy as this was, here it's left me with a dough that has no more elasticity than when I started kneading it 10 minutes ago. Which kind of plays out as you'd expect when we are told to transfer the dough to a lightly oiled bowl, cover with a tea towel, and let it rise in a warm place for up to 2 hours. At which point we are greeted with a dough that is barely changed. So we keep calm, carry on, try again. Sticking to the same recipe but with slightly fresher yeast and warmer water at 38 degrees. Mix, knead, and leave to rise again, and 2 hours later we're left with pretty much the same outcome. And get our first taste of why Brits called this bread Hitler's secret weapon. The recipe tells you to knock the dough back, which feels pretty redundant as there are virtually no pockets of air in this to knock back out. But in any case, we're shaping it and placing it into a loaf tin, and then baking for 30 minutes at 200 degrees until you have a block of wartime bread. And after leaving it for a day to go stale, it's time to cut off a couple of slices and toast them. Time to taste the National Loaf, which as far as bread goes just looks like sadness personified, but stodgy and unsatisfying. It's still going. It's kind of turning to clay in my mouth. Need a drink of water after that. I was going to say that it's probably okay if you can cover it in salty butter, and then I remembered butter was heavily rationed, so probably wouldn't be an option.